I was thinking about in the executives looks yourselves. So many, now talking about Latin America, my experience, my background comes there. So many executives feels constantly under pressure and believe rest or recovery is a luxury. So how do you reframe the concept of recovery as a strategy element of leadership performance?
No, it's a great question. It's something that has to. I love that term that you use, reframing, and it's exactly that, right?
Because
It's
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 about beliefs, right? It's
yeah,
beliefs,
yeah. It's the
mindset.
mindset, and the mindset in business has often been that it's about doing more and more and more, um, and not paying attention to recovery. I mean, you can look at the context of sport, and that's often something that does kind of resonate well with some senior leaders, that they look at how do you execute, how do you perform in sport, how do you achieve sustainable performance in sport, and recovery is the absolute key there. That you have to take time off in order to recharge, and then when you're executing, then your best self. So that's one thing. But there's another link, I think, that links to mindset, and that's about how can you be more strategic. And this was in a program that I gave a couple of days ago, and it's very common within leadership development circles. But essentially, within business, we're always very busy, and we're always on the hamster wheel, let's say. And you can characterize that as being on the dance floor, that you're in execution mode, you're fighting fires, you're getting things done. But a senior leader, now and then, it's not enough to always be on the dance floor. You have to get up on the balcony, right? So that gives you more distance. It gives you that perspective. It allows you to be more strategic. And being on the balcony, it absolutely, links to notions of rest and recovery and reframing. So it's just sometimes it's reframing for senior leaders. It's to say to them, it's not about doing nothing. It's just about changing gears and changing your perspective. And by that notion, you get that recovery, and then you can go back onto the dance floor and be more effective.
That's really a powerful insight. Wow, I love it. Well, I love it. Be on the balcony. Wow, good.
I love it too, especially the dance floor, the balcony, all of that. You've got these great analogies. Actually, as you were talking, I looked down onto my phone and I wanted to ask you a question. And it's not a question that I've written. It was from my Oura ring, Stephen. So and I'm sure you know Oura rings and whoops and stuff, and maybe you could share your opinion on them. My readiness score last night was 94. Tell me, is that good? I know it's good. I'm being a smarty pants, but I'm actually really proud of getting a 94. But in the work context, do you think that the way that people these days are using wearables and other bits of data and information, can that help them with their overall well-being and especially with their readiness for work?
It's a tool, right? It's a tool like many others. It depends on the personality of the individual. That it can be an aid, or they can sometimes become overly fixated on it. And it's a measure, right? So you get a 94, and that's fantastic. But then I think we have to keep the dialogue with ourselves, and you ask yourself, how do I feel? Do I feel 94? Because maybe you get a 94 a couple of days in a row, but maybe you're going to feel different depending on that. And so, over the years, I was always very much kind of innovating with new technology when I was starting out and what was coming out to measure. And that comes from my background in athletics. So I was always measuring different things like my heart rate, and now I still measure more sophisticated metrics like heart rate variability for overall health. And I think the Oura Ring does a lot of those measurements as well. But I'm a big believer also in a written journal, right? And you take a book and a pen, and you write your reflections, and you write what's up in here, because sometimes mental health is because there's so many things up here and they're bouncing around that you want to get it out. And sometimes that's in conversation with someone else. Sometimes it's writing it down on paper. So I'm a big believer, Megan, in the analog world as well, and use tools where they are useful, but they are not, for me at least, the be all and end all.